Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and in this video, I want to talk to you about how you need to watch your language. And no, I'm not talking about curse words. And I'm going to talk to you about the power of used to. So maybe you've heard the quote, it goes, your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. So what we've learned here is if you want to create any meaningful change in your life, you got to first take control of two things. Number one, you got to take control of your thoughts, and number two, you got to take control of your words. Now this is where I see so many people kind of go off the tracks. They have what we would call negative self-talk. So either you have thoughts about yourself that are negative and that are what we would call limiting beliefs. So I learned this from a mentor a long time ago. We all have these limiting beliefs, things that aren't helping us get where we need to go. Now what happens is you take those limiting beliefs, and then when you verbalize them, it becomes even more deadly. And the crazy thing about this is that so many people don't understand or even know that this is going on, right? They have all of this negative self-talk and they say, oh, I'm just not really great at insert thing. I'm just not really great at sports. I'm not really that athletic. I can't sleep on planes, right? I've got a separate video that I think you'll love. It's about why I think you should take a nap every day and how to sleep on planes. And a lot of people, the reason they can't nap or the reason that they can't sleep on planes is because first, they've said to themselves that they can't nap or they can't sleep on planes, right? And then some people say, hey, I'm just not that great at insert thing. So we've got all this negative self-talk, these things that we're telling ourselves that just aren't serving us. For me personally, I told myself, hey, I'm a bad writer. I don't like reading, I don't like writing. And then one day I realized this is no longer serving me. So the first step to overcoming this is to first become aware that there's a problem. And this means on the day-to-day, either yourself or someone in your life, have them earmark or put an asterisk on any time you say negative self-talk. So anytime you say, oh, I'm not great at that, or hey, I can't do this, or I'm just not the kind of person that does X, Y, Z, you need to become aware of that. And a lot of times the best way that you can do this, I know when people come to work at self-publishing school or just people that I'm around in general, I'll call this out. And you'll just see, it's crazy. Over time, they just completely transform because they figure out how to get rid of those negative thoughts and they figure out how to stop saying those things. Now, the second step, once you're aware, I'm gonna introduce you to the power of used to, and this is just a complete game changer. So step one, become aware of the negative self-talk. And then step number two, insert the word used to or the phrase used to into any of those negative statements. Now, I'll give you an example. I travel around a lot giving talks on how to write and publish a book for my company, Self-Publishing School. We can link up the video to my speaker promo if you want to check that out. But I give these talks, right? And then in those talks, I found that a lot of times I would say, hey, I'm a bad writer. Because I used to be a bad writer, but I kept saying I'm a bad writer. So now I've got this negative self-talk and I'm speaking that into existence and I'm perpetuating this false belief. And so now when I go sit down to write something, my subconscious is saying, I'm a bad writer. So what I did and what I recommend that you do is I just inserted that phrase in there. And now every time I go on stage and I talk about this story, I say, I used to be a bad writer. For you, maybe that's, I used to be bad at blank. I used to be not athletic. I used to not be able to sleep on planes. I used to not be able to take a nap. I used to be bad in front of the camera and bad at recording videos, right? You can take any negative self-talk or any negative belief about yourself, and with that one phrase, just insert it in there, and now all of a sudden, your subconscious says, oh, that's something that's behind me. This is something that is no longer an issue. So now you're kind of day by day, phrase by phrase, word by word, creating this new identity for yourself and no longer perpetuating these beliefs that don't serve you anymore. Now, I want you to try this out. This is super important, and I got one more phrase that I want to teach you that's also pretty cool, but I want you to try this phrase out for 1 week, okay? And then report back, comment below this video, let me know how it goes. This is so important. I can't tell you how many times, again, people that came to work at self-publishing school or people that I'm mentoring, coaching, things like that, I just start to see a shift. over the span of weeks and months of inserting used to, and you'll see on a meeting or you'll see in a conversation, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm just, not good at hitting deadlines. And then I'll say, what's that? You used to what? And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I used to not be good at hitting deadlines, right? Or I used to not show up to meetings on time. And so now they're starting to train themselves to use this phrase. Now, let me give you kind of one more phrase and one more weapon in your arsenal. So a mentor of mine back in the day, his name's Mitch Matthews, and him and my brother introduced me to the power of yet. This is another really great phrase that you can slap onto the back of pretty much any negative self-talk. So you say, well, the context with Mitch, I'd say, oh, have you met so-and-so? He'd say, oh no, I haven't met him yet. It's just such a small difference, but I noticed that every time I said that, he would always say, oh yeah, I haven't met him yet. Meaning I'm probably going to meet them, right? And so he just inserted that in there. Okay, have you ever, like for my brother example, have you ever won a Grammy? Oh, I haven't won one yet, right? He's been nominated for a Grammy since then. So it's just so unbelievable, the power of using yet and the power of using used to. Because now yet, there's this open possibility that this might happen, and used to, there's no longer a negative belief about who you are as a person or your skill sets or the way you show up in the world. So I would really encourage you to insert these two phrases into your daily life. Watch what happens. I think you'll find it really useful. So comment below this video, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you.